welcome back to the Lil Maguizy channel. Today we're gonna take a look at a man during World War II. That's pretty much it. Let's do it, shall we? Captain America the First Avenger, starring Chris Evans as Steve Rogers / Captain America. It's not like it's his second role as a Marvel character or anything like that. Haley Atwell as Peggy Carter. Hugo Weaving as Red Skull. Sorry, spoilers. Sebastian Stan as Bucky Barnes. Yeah, so basically moral of the story is that Red Skull, or Schmidt, we're gonna call him Schmidt. Schmidt finds a Tesseract because he's part of Hydra, which is like the Marvel version of Nazis. I don't know, yeah. So he finds a Tesseract, and years later, a wee scrawny dude comes by named Steve Rogers, who tries to join the army, but he's too wee to do that, so he can't really do it. But then he falls in love with like the general, which is weird. And then he joins the army. Then it doesn't really work out well. But then he gets injected with. He goes to this lab and gets injected with steroids, so he becomes Mr. Muscle Man. And then it turns out there's a Hydra agent, and he tried to kill him. So then the Hydra agent tries to get a wee kid and throws him in the ocean. And then now that Steve Rogers is all jacked up, he can go and do whatever he wants. So he beats the living hell out of that dude, potentially killing him, and then saves the child. And then and it turns out his friend Bucky Barnes is somewhere, and so he decides to go and help him. And Bucky's just sitting there like, "What happened to you?" "I joined the army." "Okay." Also, he's in a pantomime. Steve's in a play. Just thought I should let you guys know. Not addressing it anymore. He's in a play. And then Schmidt reveals himself as the Red Skull, and then that's that. And then Captain America is back with his mate Bucky, and then Peggy's like, "Oh, what's a man?" By the way, she's British. And then after all that's done, Steve and Bucky and some of his army mates go infiltrate this Hydra base. They go try and find Red Skull. Then Captain America, we're gonna call him Captain America, and Bucky go and jump on the train. And then Bucky loses his balance. Well, he doesn't lose his balance. He hangs on to the thing, and he unfortunately falls to his death. Rest in peace, Bucky Barnes. And then Steve's all sad, and then he goes and finds Red Skull, and then him and Peggy kiss. Mwah. Happy days. Also, Tony Stark's dad is in this too. And then he defeats Red Skull. Red Skull takes the Tesseract and then goes up to space, or he dies or something, I don't know. And then Steve, he decides not to land it somewhere. He's in the middle of the fucking Arctic. So what's the thing he decides to do? He doesn't decide to jump out and parachute. He decides to put her in the water and freezes to death for about 70 years. So the war's over, happy days, except Peggy's moping crying now because Steve's dead. So yeah, flash forward years later, Steve is woken up in the modern day. He's woken up in like New York City or something, and then Nick Fury comes, and then it's all like, "You've been asleep, Cap, for almost 70 years. And then Steve's like, "I had a date," and then it ends. Boom. Also, the credits is like this World War II-ish stylish thing, because it takes place during World War II. Yeah. After credit scene happens, or should I say, after credit tease, where it basically shows Steve boxing his ways. He's just boxing, just doing pew, 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 with a punch. He's not in like a movie kiss in the stadium, but it's empty. And then Nick Fury comes and is like, I'm trying to save the world. And then Steve just looks like. And then it shows us a tease of the next movie, which is a team up. That's all I'm gonna say. Overall thoughts, it's fine. To be honest, I don't really watch some of these earlier Marvel movies because I never really connected with them that much. But I'm more connected to the more recenter ones. Yeah. Overall thoughts, it's like a 6 out of 10. That's what I'm gonna say. 6 out of 10. But simple as that. Yeah. Join us next time whenever we take a look at a man in a metal suit, soldier, a god, a giant green monster, a woman with a couple guns, and a man who shoots arrows. Join us next time for that. Goodbye.